Got creative block? Don't worry. Today, we're going to talk about how the right structure and systems can shift your creative process from frustration to flow, and why constraints will become your best friend. And you have to sort this out because creative block is a universal challenge that virtually everyone faces. We all need to create content, build up those brand impressions, and get business. But the pressure to start from scratch can be paralyzing. Most of us think of creativity as equaling complete freedom, that having no constraints at all is the best way to let that creativity fly. But when you're under the gun and you need to get stuff done, the opposite is true. Structure, systems, boundaries. These are the things that get creativity flowing on command. Because the pressure of staring at a blank page or sitting in front of a blank screen with no structure and no system, this is one of the biggest creativity killers, period. Without structure, you're constantly reinventing the wheel, which stresses you out and makes creative block even more likely. So, let's talk about how structure actually creates the momentum you're looking for and helps you avoid creative block altogether. Because when you implement the right workflows, creativity becomes less sporadic and more consistent and reliable. But first, let's get on the same page here. When I talk about structure in the context of creativity, I'm referring to frameworks, systems, workflows, and boundaries that guide your creative process. This structure acts like a container for your ideas, giving them a place to land and making creativity easier to access on demand. Just think about it this way. Okay, you wake up in the morning thinking, okay, I'm already 15 minutes late because I hit snooze 3 times, racing out the door with a half-frozen breakfast burrito in hand, battling traffic to make it to the office just in time for the first meeting of the day. And you think to yourself, I need to post something today. And you have no system in place, no structure to guide you. You're not setting yourself up for success here. The sheer number of decisions you need to make in this situation is completely overwhelming. What format should it be? What topics should you cover? How many steps do I need to take? How long should it be? What's the goal? This decision fatigue is what leads directly to creative block. You're stuck before you even start. But when you have the structure in place, these decisions are all predetermined. Let's say you've built a simple content system where you make videos with no editing that focus on customer pain points and the insights that you can generate around them. This is what I do. Fantastic. You've already narrowed down your format choices. You've already identified the topics that align with your brand. You've already established a workflow for how you'll approach content creation. So now, when you sit down to create, you're not starting from zero. You're stepping into a system that already has momentum. Your creativity isn't spent on reinventing the process. It's channeled into delivering value within the established structure. But here's the most important part. Your creative structure has to be simple. This is where I think a lot of people go wrong. They create overly complex systems with too many steps, thinking more structure is better, but that complexity becomes its own form of resistance. Your workflow should have the fewest number of steps possible. So when you develop your workflow for creating content, focus on simplicity and efficiency. If the deliverables and posts you create require a ton of different steps, you'll already be dreading the sheer amount of work that you need to do in order to post. And this makes it incredibly easy to fall off. A day turns into a week into a month, and you're pissed at yourself. So take my word for it. Fewer steps are better. Give yourself the boundaries and the constraints of a simple system, because this structure is what supports your creativity in the long run. When there are only 4 or 5 steps to follow between you and the finish line, not 12 or 13, well, yeah, it's a lot easier to get her done. And your work environment, this matters too. Setting up your workspace to support creativity makes a huge difference. Keep it organized, have your tools accessible, and eliminate distractions. Those papers on your desk, turf them. The 16 windows you have open on your laptop, close them. Seriously, I'm meticulous about my workspace. It's always set up with the tools that I need at the ready. The guitar in the background there, it's lived on my wall long before I set up a camera. Admittedly, I don't play it enough, but having it at arm's length is a great way to switch things up for a second and then get back to work. Okay, now let's talk benefits because they're plentiful. Once momentum starts to flow, you'll gain confidence. Each successful post reinforces your belief in your ability. And the more consistently you create, the easier it gets. Now, if you've watched any other videos, I know I'm a broken record when it comes to consistency. But consistency, it's the key when it comes to brand visibility. Everyone, everywhere, is bombarded every day with content. And without consistency, you will simply fall by the wayside as people forget you exist altogether amidst all the other stuff competing for their attention. Okay, let's wind it back and recap the key takeaways here. 1. Creative block often stems from the pressure of starting from scratch without any guiding structure. 2. The right systems and structure reduce creative friction and make it easier to get started. 3. Your creative workflows should be as simple as possible with as few steps as possible. 4. Your work environment plays a key role in supporting your creative process instead of hindering it. 5. Consistency is essential for maintaining brand visibility and building audience trust. So, you need to fall in love with systems because structure doesn't limit creativity. It enables it to flow consistently over the long term. When you do it right, the simple act of taking the first step in your workflow should quite literally kick off the creative process. If you've built it correctly, just starting should get the juices flowing, so that once the wheels start turning, you gain the momentum needed to create value for your audience and get that brand visibility. So, I'll say it again. Structure doesn't restrict creativity. It creates the conditions for creativity to flow consistently. When you embrace the right systems, the right constraints, and the right formats, you're actually setting yourself free from creative block for good. And as always, thank you for listening. If you found this topic valuable, leave a comment down below. If you know someone who could benefit from this video, share it with them. And if you're ready to turn your expertise into consistent brand-aligned content, visit remotebrand.com to discover how I can help.